In a matchup of two elite programs, 5th-ranked Wesley College and 22nd-ranked North Central College needed the full 60 minutes to decide an exceptional game. The Cardinals' freshman quarterback racked up more than 300 yards through the air, and we have some fun on the range with NCC golfer Eric Gruber, who gave me some driving tips. I'm Kevin Jackman. All that and more on the Red Zone.
First-time matchup between the 5th-ranked Wesley Wolverines and the 22nd-ranked North Central Cardinals. NCC coming off a tough loss at the hands of UW-Platteville. After a Wolverine touchdown in the opening quarter, Cardinals respond by sending Austin Brunig on a counter run, tiptoes the sideline, and touchdown. Just before the end of the first, Justin Hunniford going for a deep strike over the middle. Ryan Kuhl is fearless. Head-first dive for the ball.
Check this out here.
A second look, good enough for our play of the game.
Let him a little bit too much.
Same drive, different quarter. Hunniford to Kuhl. Again, this time it counts for 6. NCC leads 14-7. Wesley quarterback Joe Callahan looking for the answer, getting it just moments later, finding his 6'3" behemoth wide receiver James Okeke for a touchdown strike. Tie game again. 3 minutes later, Callahan trying to reconnect with an old friend, but gets rudely disconnected by Brandon Kibbe, who rips it away for the pick. Big swing for the Cardinals because on the following drive, Hunniford finds Alex Ulmer, who dodged, dives, dips, ducks, and dodges his way inside the 5. That's where Austin Brunig finds greener pastures, or rather redder pastures, to give the Cardinals another lead. Fast forwarding to the second half, Matt Randolph in at running back scored to make it 28-14. Doing some double dipping. Second touchdown of the day for Randolph. 3-score lead for NCC. But Callahan and the Wolverines channel their inner Frank the Tank and go streaking. Callahan sheds a sack and finds Bryce Shea down the sideline, starting a huge run for Wesley. Tie game. Callahan keeps it himself and caps off a 28-0 run with a 16-yard touchdown scamper to take the lead. Wolverines with all the momentum in the fourth. Callahan again escaping the pocket, finding room to run, and it's a pickup of, wait! Ball pops loose, Cardinals pounce! After the turnover, the freshman quarterback.
Back. Goes to the far side again, back to Ulmer! Foot in bounds it is! We have ourselves a potential tie ball game!
After a pair of stall drives, Cardinals forced to punt it away, giving Callahan and company a no, not again, fumble on the return, Cards in the driver's seat. Now on the goal line with a chance to lead.
Quarterback Reed, and it's going to be a touchdown, North Central! Justin Hunniford with the keeper.
2-minute drill for Callahan, executes to perfection. Touchdown to Okeke, tie ball game, or not so much. Wolverines go for 2, and Callahan to Xavier Allen wins it. Wesley survives, winning 50-49. Cardinals now 1-2, heading into conference play.
Welcome inside the Red Zone on NCTV 17. We open up the show with head football coach Jeff Thorne. Coach, another thriller, this time against number 5 Wesley. Back and forth. They went for the 2-point conversion to win that game. What was your first reaction at that game's conclusion? For the second straight week, it was a tough and a close finish.
Disappointment. You know, there's really no other way to frame that. It was difficult to watch that unfold as we went through those last couple minutes. Give them all the credit in the world. Their quarterback just really put on a display. We couldn't get him on the ground. And he had just an innate ability to continue plays, extend plays. And they're as good as any team I've ever seen in all the years I've been in football at when the quarterback does get out and scramble rules take over. I've never seen a team do that as well as they did. And we knew that coming in, but just weren't able to stop it.
how useful is it for you and your players to be in that environment? Because now you're going into conference, this upcoming week. You're going to be facing teams like Wheaton and Illinois Wesleyan, so you know you're going to be in that environment.
Yeah.
These 2 games pretty much prepared you for just about anything that you could face.
Yeah, they're absolutely. It's great to have those games under your belt. We need to start winning those games, though. I'm not a guy that really is about moral victories. We're in a position to win games. We need to win the game, and then move on and have those subsequent games. Yes, it'll help us. We need to win those games, though.
Justin Hunterford was phenomenal in this one. I mean, a freshman, but you wouldn't have known it by watching that game. How impressed were you with the way he played and performed?
I'm very impressed, but I think I mentioned it last week. I kind of expect it out of him. I really do. I mean, the kid, he's just really poised for a kid his age. He showed that all throughout high school. I mean, he's a guy that won 3 state championships in high school, 2 baseball and a football, back to back to back. The kid's a winner. He's not afraid of any situation. He wants the ball, and we're going to win a lot of football games, with Justin in charge.
It was fun to watch. Also fun was the running game, because Austin Brunig stepped into that role after O'Shane went down. He had a nice game. Matt Randolph was the surprise, a couple of touchdowns. How excited were you to give him the ball? And, that's kind of the role he came in as, and that's the role he's going out with right here.
Yeah, Matt's been one of the most unselfish players that we've ever had in all the years at North Central. He's a multifaceted football player. He can do a lot of things. So, to have him shine at running back again I was very pleased to see that. And again, not surprised, because I know Matt can do those things, but he's just done so many different things for the program. Blocked a punt in week 1, so I think he leads the team in touchdowns with a block punt and a couple others. So it's been really rewarding to see Matt have that kind of success. He deserves it.
Defensively, the front 4 got a lot of pressure. It seemed like they were constantly disrupting the pocket, collapsing the pocket. Steve Laramitis was a big part of that. Moving forward, were you encouraged by the fact that they were able to penetrate the offensive line?
Yeah, we got pressure. We got to finish it, though. We had several times where we had hands on the quarterback and had opportunities to get him onto the ground. And those are plays that we have to finish if we want to beat teams of that caliber. We can't let guys extend plays that way. But, yeah, it was good to see us get some pressure.
We'll preview CCIW play and break down some game tape. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
Please have a seat. I'll be honest. Your resume, not what I'm used to.
I know.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need a hard worker.
Good. I've got 2 part-time jobs and to help my parents pay the bills.
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Before we continue on with Coach Thorne, it's time for this week's Play of the Week. In the waning moments of the first quarter, Justin Hunterford dropped back and fired a rocket over the middle. That's where Ryan Kuhl made the head-first dive into traffic to come up with the ball, and the Red Zone's Play of the Week. Last play of the first quarter, down the seam, a phenomenal grab by Ryan Kuhl.
It's the Red Zone on NCTV 17, back with Coach Thorne, and looking ahead to conference play. You guys opened it up with Millikin this week. You traveled down to Decatur. As you guys prepare, what are you looking at as far as what Millikin brings?
Millikin's fast. They've got speed, and they play physical. They've done that, ever since we've been at North Central for 14 years, so we can expect that. They've got a brand new facility. We haven't been down there, and this will be our first time in 3 years, so I'm excited to get down there, see the new facility, and 6 o'clock kick it off.
It's a very important stretch of the schedule. I mean, you look at that Wesley game and you say that would be a nice win, but it's not a must win, because if you still go and run the table in conference, you have an automatic playoff berth.
Sure.
Looking ahead at conference, you guys confident that you can go in and really, run the table?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. There's some very, very good teams in our conference, as there is every year. But we've played 2 fantastic football teams in a row these last 2 weeks, and we're in a position really where we, I think, should have won both of those games, in my opinion. So I think we're prepared, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And you're right about the fact that, you know, those weren't must-wins. We would love to have those 2 wins and be sitting at 3-0. We don't. We didn't get them. But we still have our conference slate ahead of us, and if we take care of business in conference, then, you know, we can win the conference, hopefully win that bell back that is so important several weeks down the road, and have a chance to go back into the playoffs.
Now I want to have some fun. Let's break down some game tape. This first play was just an incredible throw by the freshman quarterback. It's Justin Hunterford going to the deep sideline. You went to it 2 plays in a row. That's how pretty it was. And here it was Alex Ulmer on the receiving end of that touchdown on the far side of the field.
Yeah, the play before, we had the exact same coverage, and, you know, if you fail once, try again. We felt like, you know what, we got a good matchup here. Let's see if we can get it. And Alex did a great job of getting the guy on his inside hip and stemming and running away from him. Justin threw in a really, really nice ball.
How about that toe tap on the sideline there?
Yeah, he's
nice
twinkle toes. So you'll get a chance to meet him in a couple minutes.
Now the second play comes from Steve Laramitis, as he comes and just absolutely bullets into the backfield. Comes off the edge, and there he is. Actually, we're going to go to the Kibbe interception first. And on this particular play, he went up and high-pointed the ball. This
was an unbelievable play. That receiver is about 6'3" and high points the ball extremely well. We saw it on tape. He made a one-handed catch on tape that was one of the better catches I've ever seen. So that was a pivotal play in the game. It really, really changed momentum. If I remember right, I think the game was tied at 14 at that point. And that's where we went on our run of 21 unanswered points. But a huge play by Brandon. He played very, very well again.
Tall task. I mean, he performed very well up against that guy.
He did a great job.
The final play is the Steve Laramitis sack. And I mentioned earlier, a lot of pressure in the backfield. This was the lone sack of the day, but it was a big one coming right out of half. And it almost, in a way, set a tone for that drive.
Yeah, Steve did a good job of holding his own and playing his gap, and then he reacted to the boot and was able to get to the quarterback and get him to the ground one of the few times. In fact, the only time we were able to get him to the ground. That Joe Callahan is really as good of a quarterback as I think we'll see all season.
How tough is a tackle like that for Steve, where it's an open field, you know, the quarterback can go left or right, he can step up, back up. Is that one of the harder sacks to convert?
That's the most difficult tackle to make, because the quarterback, like you said, has all that space. So Steve did a great job on that play, and that really, you know, we got the ball back right away, winning and scored, and at that point we're feeling really good. And we gave up a big play, unfortunately, on 3rd and 8 on the next drive that really changed the momentum, and took us a while to recover. Once we did, we were able to regain the lead, and we couldn't finish.
This Saturday, Milliken is going to be a good test for you guys, and best of luck, Coach. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Coming up on the Red Zone, we sit down with Alex Ulmer and Justin Sturzma. We'll be right back.
Loaves and Fishes Community Pantry provides more than food. We provide hope. With your help, we can provide food and hope to children, families, and seniors in need. Please visit us online to find out how you can join us in the fight to end hunger in our community. Loaves and Fishes, the power of community to change lives.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
lights there, darks there,
to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asomugha. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Find out how you can live united for education. Give, advocate, volunteer. Go to liveunited.org.
Do you wear this?
Welcome back. We're joined in studio by wide receiver Alex Ulmer and linebacker Justin Sturzma. We're going to start with Alex. A big day receiving-wise for you. How excited were you to be such a big part of the offensive game plan in that game against Wesley?
Well, you know, it's always fun to be a big part of the plan, but, you know, coming out with the L, I'd rather have 0 catches, 0 yards, and get the W. So honestly, it's bittersweet for me, but yeah.
You know, you got Justin throwing you those hot balls right across the middle. You had a couple of those slant routes. How impressed are you with the ability of him to not only remain poised in the pocket, but deliver those balls in time with good pace and with good space to move?
He's really impressive. He really is. The way he moves in the pocket, he finds the right receiver at the right time, and I come out of my break and the ball is just right there, and he makes it easy for me.
Do you need those gloves? A little too much heat on them?
Yeah, absolutely. I got like 3 pairs now because, you know, he takes the sticky off of them.
Now, Justin, defensively, you guys got pressure on Joe Callahan. The defensive front looked pretty good. Linebackers had him in space a couple of times. Is that encouraging for you guys moving forward that you have the ability to get into the backfield?
Yeah, it's encouraging, but like Coach said earlier, we have to finish the play. We have to take him down. You know, you can't have these moral victories like, hey, he's a great quarterback. We almost had him. We have to get him, and we have the ability to get him.
Now, you're the leading tackler so far this year. You've been flying around. I mean, basically, you're sideline to sideline, it seems like, on every single play. Is that the role that you enjoy to be in, kind of the guy that is going to be covering the full 100 yards?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I like to go full speed. I like to utilize my speed. But all my plays come from the defensive line being able to make their plays because I just fall off them.
Defensively in the backfield, for the defensive backs, it seemed like they locked down at times. You know, you look back at the way that game shaped out. Brandon Kibbe had a nice game. You look at Kevin Nalewski, tied with you in tackles for that contest as well. They seem pretty active. And what did you guys see from them when you look back at that game? Were you encouraged by their play?
Oh, yes, definitely. Like, we know that we can man up against anyone in the nation. Just the one thing that we need to do is on some of these like 3rd and long situations is we have to make that stop. We got to get the ball back to the offense.
Now, offensively, you'll look ahead to conference. You have 7 games now to establish yourselves. You're on a roll. You look at this game, you put up points. You look at the Platteville game, you guys put up points. Moving forward, how confident are you guys that you can stay on this roll into the important part of the schedule?
Well, you know, Coach Jeff always has a good game plan, and, you know, him and Coach Spencer work together and call the good plays. And honestly, it's just confidence in ourselves and on each other. It helps a lot.
How's the offense gelling? You know, you have some moving pieces. Dylan has moved to kind of that jackknife role. Justin comes in as a freshman. You know, in the huddle, are things cohesive?
I have no problem with Justin being the quarterback. I trust him. And Dylan has just taken an absolute great role at receiver. He's the ultimate sacrifice of giving up his starting position at quarterback. I'm really proud of him. But yeah, it's good to see. The offensive line is looking pretty good, and I trust all the other receivers just as much as I put as much trust in myself. So.
Now, defensively, you guys look ahead. You've given up points, but there's a lot of encouraging signs. How do you guys try to get better as you move into these final 7 contests?
We just need to keep communicating and believing that we can do it. Like, we can do it. We just need to prove it now. We need to put the 100% into it. Like, we know we got to get plays. We got to create turnovers, give the ball back. Like, we should never let the offense score 49 points and lose. Like, but we believe in ourselves.
Now, offensively, we look at this squad, and there's a lot of potential here. You look at, you know, Justin Hunterford. You look at all these running backs. You know, Shane Brown is now gone. Austin Brunick is stepping up. Do you guys feel confident that he can step into that role and really provide?
Absolutely, yeah. Austin gets a full head of steam, and he hits that hole super fast. And I think you have a running back by committee. Andrew Sled also stepped up, and he's a great running back. Matt Randolph, as you said earlier. Yeah, so I trust the running backs. I would love O'Shane, but, you know, the other running backs are capable.
Last thing, I'll ask Justin this. Dom Zavalia has been fantastic so far this year. What have you guys seen from the kicker? Really, I mean, a big part of the team.
Oh, he's a huge part. You know, we expect him, and we know that he can go 100% on every extra point, every field goal, and we know he's going to punt the ball well. We know when we have to go to special teams, we know that he's going to get the job done. We trust in him a lot. But we have no fear if he has to kick a 40-yard game-winning field goal.
I feel like he could also lay a pretty big hit if he's required to. He's a big guy.
He's a big, strong boy. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest kicker I've ever seen at the college rank. Yeah. It's been exciting to watch you guys, and we'll look forward to Saturday up against Milligan. You guys looking forward to that game?
Absolutely, yeah.
Of course.
All right, well, best of luck. We appreciate you guys stopping by.
All right, thank you very much.
Up next, TEUSCHER swings by to update us on all the other Cardinal action, and we'll hit the driving range with Eric Gruber. You have the Red Zone.
Nice. this?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
It's time to sit down with North Central Sports Information Director Clark TEUSCHER. Clark, it's been a busy week, and I want to go straight to the women's volleyball team opening up conference play against Augustana, and they look every bit as good as their 14-3 record indicates.
Yeah, that's something that, everybody was kind of waiting to see how well that early season success was going to translate into conference play, and went up against a team in Augustana that had already won a conference match against a very good opponent in Illinois Wesleyan, and to come out and play as well as they did, winning 3-1 and really kind of dominating the match, from the outset was certainly a promising sign as they get ready for 6 weeks of conference play here.
Now we got to look at them last night on a live stream of the event, and they have some very big players. It's a good mixture of seniors and some younger players on that team. So not only are they going to be good this year, or at least look like they're going to be good, but they're set up for the long haul as well with some really good outside hitters that are young.
Yeah, finding players in those positions, with that kind of height, can be difficult at the Division III level. A lot of them get picked clean for the scholarship programs in Division I and Division II. But being able to recruit those players to come here and get a quality education and contribute like they have on the volleyball court, certainly very fruitful couple of years recruiting for the coaching staff.
Now I want to turn the attention to women's soccer. They dropped 2 games this past weekend. Both of them were of the 1-goal variety against really good teams. I mean, they were competitive games, competitive losses. And when I talked to Bonnie Young, she said they wanted to play those tough teams to prepare themselves for conference. Sitting at 5-4, that looks like a very good team as well.
Yeah, it's a season that's already had a couple of distinct ups and downs between a 5-game winning streak, and then here, the last 3 games they've lost by 1 goal each, like you said. I think the coaches really still feel pretty good about where they're at. They've had some injuries that they've had to work through. That's going to happen. If they can get it out of the way, here by the time conference play starts this weekend, I think they'll be feeling pretty good about their chances to get back into the conference tournament.
Now, men's golf has been busy. Their season is going to be winding down fairly soon. They had a good week at the Naperville Collegiate Invite. They went out to Naperville Country Club and took 2nd place out of 10 teams, which is a very strong finish. Glenn Miller led the charge. Eric Gruber, Ray Sapelli was in there as well. That's a team that is certainly one to look out for, maybe not in the fall season, but come the spring.
Well, that's what the whole fall season is geared to do, is to prepare you to find out what you do well and what you need to work on, in the 6 months or so before you get back on the course. And that's certainly ample time to work on weaknesses and build on strengths. So, with the increased physical training regimen that Coach Sellers has introduced across the board, gives them a lot of time to see some benefits from that, and give them a chance to come into the spring and really take that step up the leaderboard that they've been looking to take.
Now, Coach Steve Sellers, it just seems like he's injected this positivity into the program that it just seems to radiate away from some of those golfers. They're performing better. You mentioned the training regimen. From your guys' perspective, what have you seen from Steve Sellers? It seems like he's doing a really nice job.
Well, it's hard to have a bad day around Steve. Certainly a very upbeat guy, and it's important in a sport like golf where, one bad shot or one bad hole can really, turn a whole round south for a player, and to have that kind of light and buoyant voice, as somebody comes off the putting green and heads to the next tee. Can make all the difference in how that player is going to perform over the course of a weekend. So certainly a breath of fresh air for those players, and I think they've all taken very well to his brand of coaching.
Now, we've had some fun on the golf course this week. This week on Cardinal Corner, Eric Gruber and I brought our cameras down to the driving range, and he gave me some tips. Welcome to this week's edition of the Cardinal Corner. Eric Gruber, captain of the North Central Cardinals men's golf team, joining me today, and he's going to teach us how to drive long and straight.
You always want, when you're lining up with, especially with a drive, you want to flare this left foot out a little bit. You don't want, somebody on our team likes to do this, but that's just a feel thing. You want that left foot flared out a little bit so when you get the turn, you can turn and get more power into it. I always want to make sure I drag it straight back, and you don't ever, this used to be my problem, coming way back here. You want to stop right parallel. So that's pretty much the 3 things that go through my head.
Why don't you go ahead and give us a test shot just to see exactly how credible you are of a source.
And a bad one.
So, Eric, how long can you drive?
On average?
On average.
I'm probably between 290, 300.
Let's see it again. That's a pretty one. So it's my turn on the tee box, and Eric Gruber is going to give me some pointers here on the tee box.
You got to see what we're working with. Flare that left foot out a little bit when you line up. When you line up, flare it out a little bit, a little more. There you go.
And what does that do?
And that allows you to turn more.
Interesting.
It gets your hips through.
So here we go with attempt number 2.
We got one left, one right, now you got one center.
Let's hope so.
There it is. Right at the flag.
So that is how to drive long and straight with Eric Gruber. Eric, we appreciate your time and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So speaking of golf, let's take a look at the women's golf team. Megan Kelly and company are going to go to the CCIW Championship this weekend. It's going to be a good test for that team to kind of evaluate where they are.
Yeah, it's really been, Carthage and Illinois Wesleyan have really kind of been the top teams in that tournament, and, North Central's been kind of on the periphery of trying to break into that group, and certainly, it would take a very strong performance this weekend to do so, but they're playing as well as they've played throughout the fall. They've had 3 different players, break into the 70s for the first time. If they're able to put all that together at the same time, they could have a chance to put things together. It's a 54-hole tournament, which they haven't played at all this fall. So certainly that consistency as we get into that 3rd day, and the fatigue sets in, and physically as well as mentally, that's really kind of where the challenge comes in. And Coach Thompson feels pretty good about their ability to take that on, and so we'll see.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time and stopping by and all your wisdom that you've imparted on us.
What wisdom there is. Thank you.
Well, that's all the time we have on this edition of the Red Zone. The Cardinal football team travels down to Milliken this Saturday. We'll bring you the full highlights following the game. For everyone here at NCTV 17, I'm Kevin Jackman saying so long. We'll see you next week.